Let's try another one, right?
I'm Steve Martin. Thank you for signing up for Masterclass. I'm Steve Martin. Oh, I said that. Very essential to learn comedy. Hi, I'm Steve Martin, and welcome to your non-refundable masterclass in clawhammer banjo. Good choice.
Hello everyone, it's Lewis P here. I hope everyone's having an amazing day, night, wherever you are in the world. Today what we're going to be talking about is the Steve Martin Teaches Comedy Masterclass, obviously given what I just presented at the start of this video. And now, when he says it's not refundable, it is actually refundable, because if you look down on the class, it says 100% guaranteed refundable. So you're welcome there, Steve Martin. You got to pick up on this stuff. So I'm not going to log in there. Either way, let's do a quick review, and is it worth it video, an overview video for the Steve Martin Teaches Comedy Masterclass. Now, let's rock and roll. So first and foremost, like every other masterclass, it's 100% exclusive. Really important to note, he's never done anything like this, and you can see the production quality is top notch. He's never done anything like this. So really, really cool. Now, let's go straight into the lessons. There are 25 lessons, which is great. If you don't know who Steve Martin is, shut this video down right now, or pause the video and go Google him and look at some of the films that he's actually produced. It's quite amazing, and he knows what he's talking about. He's probably one of the funniest humans on the face of the planet. Regardless of that, let's keep going. Obviously, 25 videos, as I've already alluded to, which is great. And then there's obviously, on top of that, and this applies to every masterclass, is that there's a class workbook. Now, every class, consider all of these things a class, lessons, associates a workbook with it. Now, in order to get the most value from this class, or this course, or this masterclass, is you need to take every class and every workbook along with each other. However, and that's if you're really serious. However, if you just want a really entertaining time with Steve Martin and understand his process, and you're more of an observer like I am, then you don't really need to take the workbook. So that's fine. Office hours, okay, yeah, you can upload videos and questions, and he will actually respond to them. I've seen it done from all the other classes as well. It's really, really cool to actually see his face and engage with him while, he responds to a video question that you sent him. For the average Joe, like, most of us, probably won't be super relevant, but for the real hyper serious guys, definitely get on that for feedback. And it really ties into one of his core lessons when he actually takes students along with him. So very, very, very cool. Now, let's move on. Every single masterclass has an introduction about who this guy is, but it doesn't show you the films that he's actually made. However, it does show you a bit of his comedy sketch that he does in terms of his stand-up performance. Really, really cool. And if you know the instrument he's playing, you'll get the reference if you've watched him in the past. So you have a quick introduction, getting started in comedy. Now, just know that this doesn't just apply to everyone that's in comedy. It actually applies to everyone in the real world as well, because let's face it, guys, if you want to be liked in society, if you want to be able to tell engaging stories with your friends, etc., there has to be an element of comedic expression there, right? So what this class really teaches you is how to become more funny than what you are right now. I'm sure there's guys that are really, really hilarious, but this just helps you, up that a bit and, really bring out your personality, your tone of voice, all of that. And we'll go into it very soon. And obviously when you have Steve Martin telling you how to be funny, you don't argue with that ever. And you can even argue generations, but no, this guy is universal, and he will always be funny regardless of the time period you're in. And you can obviously look up, certain comedians, Richard Pryor, during his, amazing years. That's still relevant today. Eddie Murphy, Raw, Delirious. Those are really, really top-notch qualities that stand the test of time. So you can't really argue generational comedy as well on that. He's funny, he knows what he's doing, and he can help you. Either way, moving on, gathering material. So this is pretty interesting. So this lesson in particular I found really good, because basically what it allows you to do, right, is it says, well, be an observant of your surroundings all the time and try and turn it into something that you can use into material. Now, we can call it material, or we can call it like a story or an outing with friends. Now, if you're an introvert like I am, for example, you're not really great at telling stories like this in front of a group of friends or a group of people, whether that's colleagues or friends. What this does is it really teaches you how to hone in on how to observe and then how to twist it into something that's obviously interesting for people to listen to, and improving yourself and making yourself feel better in front of other people. So gathering materials, great. Comedic voice, oh God, this was great because he always talks about pauses and faces that you can make. Really, really, really cool. I've only recently started presenting a voice like this in front of my friends, and they find it quite funny. But I don't want to go into that too much. Either way, that's more of a personal thing. And whenever I make that voice in front of my friends, they always laugh. But when he talks about comedic voice, though, he talks about what is your tone and what do you represent. Richard Pryor is very different from Steve Martin. Steve Martin's very different from Eddie Murphy. Dave Chappelle is extremely different from all of them because they have a different type of voice. They have a different type of tone that they use. And it's all about context. And I'm not going to go into any further in that. You need to look at the class and he'll actually dive into that really well. Comedic personas, it really goes back to my last points, which is fine. Jokes and bits, really good. Delivery is everything. Like, it's honestly, I think he puts even a number to it. I think I remember it was like 80-20 or 70-30 with respect to how important delivery is for comedic expression and how to make people laugh. For example, silence is a really big one. So that's really cool. Crafting, basically practicing as much as you can. Then he goes into students comedy and then observes students, their routines, and then suggests improvements. The best thing about this is, now this isn't relevant to 90% of us, but this is super relevant to the people that actually care about being funny and being a comedian. So what he does is he reads the scripts of these students and then he literally reads it out loud and then he suggests, okay, this is what you can improve. This is what you need to take out. Really, really cool to actually see these professionals do this. Because you don't, when you think of comedy, you don't really think of professionals, quote unquote, right? You only think of like, these are guys that just remember lines and then they say it. There's actually a real art to this. So you appreciate it on another level, provided that you enjoy comedy. Opening and closing your act, that's fine, really cool. Profanity, as you probably know, Steve Martin isn't very much like an Eddie Murphy when it comes to profanity and morality. So very different, and it's cool to hear his perspective on that. Growing as a performer, really interesting how he talks about how he practices. And this actually applies to everything. Oh, and this is great. Now, if you're a YouTube star, if you're a performer in any single way, shape, or form, heck, even if you're at work at a certain extent, you're always going to have nerves. You're always going to have hecklers, and you're always going to have bombing that, people interrupt you. This is really, really powerful, this lesson. And he teaches you how he avoids common pitfalls and how he can manage fright that you have. And especially if you have a certain personality that isn't really quick on their feet, this helps you so much with that. So very important to everyone that involves, and there's a plane go over my house, whatever, who cares. Now, moving on, a life in the arts, that's okay, not bad. I didn't find a lot of value from that, to be honest with you. Creating characters, really, really cool. Really cool how he dives into this and really creates a unique character from his own personality. Very similar to Samuel L. Jackson Masterclass. They're basically in a very similar field, those two. It's about creating, that persona, that character, and really making it unique to the actor themselves. So that's cool. Story techniques, how to actually tell a story properly in the context of, comedy. Really, 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 really good. Screenwriting case study. I didn't find a lot of value from that. I mean, to each their own. You made editing. Obviously, he actually edits a lot of the students' sessions or performing arts. And then he even, gives examples. So editing is so important. And this comes back to what I was saying earlier with respect to how important this is, how professional this is. So really, really cool. Writing case studies. I didn't find that really great. Inspirations, really, really cool to hear his what inspired him to become a comic. Steve's journey, great. And as always, these last lessons are really, you get the most inspiration from them. Final thoughts, and then speeches. If this was really, really good. So he actually delves into Tom Hanks's Museum of Modern Art speech. And basically, yeah, literally that. He dissects every, like all of the moments and the key nuances within that speech. Really, really cool. I believe that's even on YouTube. So I'd highly recommend you Google Tom Hanks's Museum of Art speech. So, and heck, even if you're becoming a best man or you need to make a speech very soon, this will provide a lot of value for you. Obviously, there's a lot of reviews on the class as well. You can even check out at the website. The link's in the description for the discount. Steve Martin explains comedy techniques. You know, it's a no-brainer, man. If you're really into comedy, you really want to understand how this works, or if you just want some entertainment and want to understand how this person actually functions and how he does his job in such a high degree of level, so then hell yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you're not really interested in comedy, you don't really enjoy laughing, which kind of means you're not a human. But if you enjoy laughing, if you enjoy comedy, this is probably a class for you. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 if you're a comic, and 8 out of 10 if you just want some entertainment. So that's great. You can browse it on any device, which is fine. On demand, you know, if you're heading to work, great thing to watch while you're heading to work. And obviously there's a whole bunch of other classes there, and that link in the description will take you there. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little, you know, Steve Martin overview video. I kind of want to go into it a bit more. I probably will, actually, so at a later date. But I hope you enjoyed the first video clip that I edited a bit. And then also, I hope you enjoy the content. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Because subscribing helps me out because you know the new subscriber rules. If you can help me get to 1,000 subscribers, that will be really appreciated. Either way, guys, click that link in the description if you actually want to purchase it. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the masterclass. Louis P. out. Hey guys, just before you leave, make sure you check out Preacher Lawson. He hasn't asked me to do anything like this for him, but I thought, you know what, give him a bit of love because he's an up-and-coming comedian. I put him in the ranks of Eddie Murphy, you know, all those real top guns, and even Steve Martin himself. So make sure you go check him out. Give him some love. Again, he hasn't asked me to do this, but I thought I'd give him some love as well. So either way, guys, go check out Preacher Lawson. He's awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.